This might look like a classic whiskey sour, but it has a smoky little secret. This week, let me show you how I make a smoked whiskey sour. Welcome back to the channel. I'm Matt, I'm the Whiskey Nerd, and like I said, this week I'm going to show you how to make a smoked whiskey sour. But how am I going to get the smoke into the cocktail? Well, I'm going to use this little gadget. You might have seen things like this. It's like essentially just a little chimney with a grate down the bottom of it, and you add some wood shavings to it. When you add the wood shavings to it, use the little blowtorch, and that forces the smoke down through the chimney and into the cocktail. This is pretty handy and pretty easy for things like old fashions or Manhattans or anything like that. But when it comes to a whiskey sour, you got this layer of foam over the top. So if you try and add foam after making the cocktail, you're just going to get some really smoky foam, and you're not going to actually get the smoke into the cocktail, which is what you want. And after trying it a couple different times, I think I hit on the best way to add smoke into a cocktail like a whiskey sour. So let's not waste any time, let's get into making the cocktail. The basic formula for a whiskey sour is just 2 parts whiskey, 1 part sugar, 1 part citrus, with something to make it a bit foamy and something to round out the cocktail. So for our cocktail, we'll be using Roe and Co Irish whiskey. This is a very good workhorse classic cocktail whiskey. Comes in at 45% ABV, so it has a nice bit of weight behind it, but it also is still nice and sweet. Does carry a nice rich whiskey flavor, so it will shine through in the cocktail without overpowering. We're also going to be using some basic sugar syrup and some lemon juice. To make it foamy, we'll be adding an egg white, just to really add this nice silky rich texture to the cocktail, as well as a couple of dashes of Angostura bitters just to round out the cocktail, make it feel a bit more balanced. And then we'll be adding in the smoke, but we'll be adding that in after we add in all the rest of the ingredients. So let's get doing that. It is a shake and drink, so we're going to get our shaker tin and we're going to pop a nice rock of ice into there, and then we're going to measure in the rest of our ingredients. So we're going to start off with 2 ounces of Roe and Co Irish whiskey. Again, like I said, it is just a really good classic workhorse whiskey that delivers a lot of flavor. We'll be following that up with 1 ounce of basic sugar syrup. Now you could use homemade sugar syrup, you could use any sugar syrup. This is just plain old store-bought, so whatever you have, you can use it. And that's 1 ounce of sugar syrup in there. And then we're just going to go in with another 1 ounce measure of lemon juice, just into the cocktail. Nice and simple, nice and straightforward. Freshly squeezed lemon juice when you can makes a huge difference. Then we're going to go in with 1 whole egg white. What I did to just separate out the egg white to make sure you don't get the yolk, because you don't want the yolk in the cocktail, you just want the egg white. And then we're going to go in with 2 dashes of Angostura bitters just to really round out the cocktail. And now we're going to add in our smoke to the cocktail. So we're going to put our little smoking chimney up top, and we're going to add in a kind of a decent sized pinch of little wood chippings into the top of the chimney. And then we're going to get a little blowtorch. This is essentially just like a cook's blowtorch, but you could use a jet lighter or anything else that has a nice kind of flame coming off. And we're just going to smoke it for a couple of seconds, just making sure that we get a nice bit of smoke developing. Once you can see it coming out of the side of the cocktail smoker like that, you know you're getting a good bit of smoke. So we're just going to leave it sit there for about 5, maybe 10 seconds to really let that smoke settle in. That's been sitting there for a couple of seconds now, so we're going to get the other half of our cocktail shaker and we're just going to trap all that smoke into there to make sure when we shake down the cocktail, it all gets trapped and all gets incorporated into the whole of the cocktail rather than just sitting on top. So I'm going to shake this down for about 20, maybe 25 seconds until I get it nice and cold. Okay, that is nice and cold now, so we're going to pop the top off our cocktail shaker and we're going to get ready to strain it out. Now, by shaking the cocktail like that, we should have got a nice head of foam and we should have incorporated all that smoke into the foam. So we're going to get a nice chilled coupe and we're going to strain it out into there. Oh yes, look at that. Now that looks like a perfect whiskey sour, and you'd never be able to tell there's a nice bit of smoke in it, but I guarantee you when we taste it, it's going to have a really rich flavor. So I'm going to let this settle, but while it settles, if you're new here, scroll down, hit that thumbs up button, hit that subscribe button. I put out cocktail recipes like this on Fridays, and I put out whiskey reviews on Wednesdays, so if you want to see more, make sure you hit subscribe. Now this is about as settled as it's gonna get, so for a last little finishing touch, we're just gonna drop 1 or 2 little drops of Angostura bitters on top, and that's gonna give us a nice bit of aroma as we bring it up, and that's gonna really complement those smoky flavors in the foam. So, cheers. That's really good. It's surprising because the foam has this kind of density to it, has this kind of like almost like a cover, so you don't actually know it's going to be smoky until you go in to taste it. Like as I bring it up here, I'm smelling it, I'm just getting lemon, getting whiskey, I'm getting the Angostura bitters, maybe a touch of smoke, but it's very mild. But as soon as you taste it, there's the smoke. There's that nice kind of woody smoke. It's quite distinct from, like, of course, like a peated scotch where you get that peat smoke, the kind of earthy smoke. This is more woody and just has a nice, really rich character to it. Although this is the best way I found to put smoke into a cocktail like this, because if you took your cocktail smoker now and popped it on top and tried to smoke it, all you'd succeed in doing is smoking the top of the cocktail because it's got that layer of foam. It actually wouldn't penetrate the drink. But because I added it to the shaker tin, because the shaker incorporated that smoke into the foam and into the cocktail, as I drink the cocktail, I get that smoke. I get it in the foam, I get it in the drink, I get it kind of all throughout the experience, which really does add a nice kind of wrapper to the cocktail and make it more kind of coherent. So if you've got a little cocktail smoker, definitely try shaking up a cocktail with some smoke, because you can get some very nice results. I'm going to enjoy this nice result, and I will see you next time. Sláinte.